I'm Ray.
I'm Candace.
Welcome to Unpacking Coffee this week.
Upper Left Coffee, right here in Portland.
Roasting coffee in a southeast Portland, upper left. Roasting coffee, everybody in upper left.
That's right, Candace. This week we spoke to Katherine Harris, one of the founders, and Adam Garcia, who designed their identity and packaging.
That's right.
I had a really good idea of what I wanted Upper Left to be. And so it's really just finding people that believe and understand what you're talking about. So that was kind of the goal, from design to branding to roasting to, the baristas and the cooks in the kitchen. So that's what we set out to do. I'm Katherine Harris, and I'm one of the owners with Upper Left Roasters in Portland, Oregon. I'm from Portland, and my parents started a catering company and loved coffee also. I always wanted to start a venture with my father. So we opened 2.5 years ago. We wanted to create a menu that was fresh and light and more, elevated than, just a pastry program. Can we work with the local farm, which we do on Sauvi's Island? And now it's become like a friendship, where he'll deliver the eggs and he'll be like, oh, I'm a little short, this week. We had an eagle problem. This is what partnering with locals, means. When I was living in San Francisco, I remember Blue Bottle was a block from my offices, and I would get a pour over every morning. And I loved that tradition. It is a special moment, something that is brewed by hand. Thinking about what our coffee program would be like at Upper Left, how can I kind of create those moments for guests that, walk through the door. Chris is also one of the founders too. So he's been with us since we started. It's really been like Jim and Chris and myself. He was really interested in our food concept as well. He thought that he could bring a coffee program that would really complement our food program. I knew from the beginning that I wanted something fresh and bold, approachable. We had to find a branding company.
My name is Adam Garcia. I'm a designer and a creative director here in Portland.
I met Adam Garcia and it was like immediate. I just knew. I was like, I've seen your work. It's very different and cool. You've never worked in coffee. I don't know if you really know what you're doing, but I really like your style.
I honestly think she took a big risk by going with a company that had never worked in the coffee field before.
We came up with something that was very simple, which is what we wanted.
Introduce the brand, keep it super clean, try to keep it different than maybe some of the other Portland brands, and just use this variable sticker set, basically with a little bit of hand-done type, to bring in not only a human element, but make it really easy. This packaging right here, although very intentional and deliberate, they were meant to be temporary, because we knew that after, ideally 6 months or something like that, we'd move on to the full packaging system. The cool thing is that Upper Left got really busy, and they kind of had to just keep going and evolving that initial packaging. When we started the site, it was a little different than what it's become. And at the beginning, a lot of it was about introducing a new brand concept to the public. The site's kind of been in a constant state of evolution, like any business. I guess it's not new anymore. It still feels new, but it's been 4 years. Our idea was to lead first with the tone and the energy of what we wanted Upper Left to be, and for people to be able to see the site and say, this feels different, and kind of wonder why, and then get in the space and see it reflected in the space itself. But over time, you realize that there are business practicalities, right? So if it becomes more about product, it becomes more about getting the coffee and the language of the coffee and the experience in front of people. How do you put that forward? Right now, I think it's more focused on that. And then we're going to find a way with the repackaging to kind of bring it back around.
This was like the perfect beginning. Like, hey, this is who we are, this is Upper Left. But our mission, I feel like with everything we do, is to like constantly elevate and develop. Naming. I mean, I loved representing the West Coast since I was younger. I've always loved growing up in Portland. I'm very proud of being from Portland. And so it's a geographic reference.
It's obviously location-based when it comes to where it is in Ladd's Addition. Location is really, really important for that neighborhood and for the city. There's the kind of macro idea of it being in the upper left of the United States, so it also represents the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast in general. There's also an idea, and I don't know if I should be saying this, but one thing that Katherine's dad kind of threw out was the idea of the upper left part of the body being the heart. And he actually said in one of the first meetings, he's like, don't ever tell anyone that, but that's why I think the name is important. And I keep that in mind all the time.
What's the experience going to be like for the guest that walks through the front door? You know, how inviting is it? How comfortable is it? You know, and we wanted to work with a design company like Fieldwork that was very intentional.
Like Upper Left, they are inherently Pacific Northwest. They're so Portland, but they're very progressive and way bigger when it comes to what they think the city could be and how they want to introduce new processes and materials and think outside of the city. But that could kind of only happen here. We had meetings in the very beginning before, when it was still kind of coming out of the bar construction. It used to be called Ladd's Inn, and talking about how to take some of what Upper Left should be and how to take cues from the neighborhood and bring it into the design. I don't know if you've been in, you've seen kind of like these beautiful metal angles that go through some of the wood. And all of those angles and all those moments are inspired by Ladd's Addition.
Did you do that print that is the Ladd's Addition print with the little, I love that, and I also love on the interior the sort of different directions from the coffee.
That idea of the light is bigger than just the sun rays, you know?
No matter where you are in the space, how do you feel?
And when I talk to other people about what the brand has become and what the space has become, and to hear people that don't even know that I'm involved or know the owners or necessarily know the story reinforce that just because they can sense it in the space, just makes it even more special. I think it's also something about the tone of the brand and the experience with the service and the feeling that people get when they walk away from it and have nothing but great energy. And to me, that's what's really cool about the brand and the potential of it.
Upper Left Coffee of Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
I hear they wrote the song Tiny Dancer and Upper Left. They're working on a cure for cancer at that Upper Left. Upper Left. Upper Left. Upper Left. Upper Left.
Go away. Go away.
Okay, okay.